They count in the sides. Time to say anything that we make. Now I hit it up. Oh, but I know God. Oh, yes, we do. Cali, most guys, they just praying that I crash. The those guys, they don't want to see you last. They take $3 million to Brian Jackson. A tub full of money, I still can't relax. Time spinning, Lord forgive me, I'm a sinner. Conquer your 5 niggas. Wrong side of the position, only define winning. Better listen when I tell you I was climbing it. Please forgive me, God did. So leave me in the dark, swimming with the sharks. Dope boy, peak calm, still the biggest boss. Got a kilo on the plate, send them on the freight. Or I could go and buy a bank, I know my money's safe. They down in the sides. They didn't think that we would make it. They didn't believe in us. Oh, but I know God. Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, sky is the limit, every day I reach. They was tired of me winning, now they can't sleep. Don't want to see me with the ring, you better play deep. Nigga, God did his thing when he made me.
God did. Bless up one and all, one and all, one and all. Back with another episode of Troy Graham and the Three Kings. Yes, indeed. So, welcome from Africa to America and worldwide and internationally known. Welcome to the Troy Graham Experience. So, let me take a deep breath before we get down to the proceedings, as I like to say. Let me take a deep breath. Then boxing is making a resurgence. You know, the fans are getting the fight that we want. Tank and Ryan, you know, and we had, of course, we had what are their names again? Crawford and Spence. Yeah, those two. Right. Inoue is making a big push. Nonito Donaire went for history, but he fell a little short. I gotta get him on the show. I really respect that brother. Definitely respect him. There's no heavyweights to be spoken of, but tonight we're gonna talk about Spence Crawford, the continuance. It seems like the talk lasts longer than the fight. You know, excuses, excuses, excuses. There's this video out there about a who's a doctor, a neurosurgeon or whatever he is, saying his friend's brain is messed up. Where was he when he was fighting Danny Garcia right after the car accident? Where was he when he fought Ugas? And it's amazing now they they anointed Derek James as the ultimate trainer of the year. He's the best. He the best. We got Derek James over here on the PBC. Now they want him burned at the stake like this is a Salem witch hunt. You know, the same PBC fans that said let Deontay Wilder go out on a shield and wanted Mark Breland just torn asunder, destroyed the man's reputation and everything, are now saying that for throwing in the towel, by the way, done in the second Fury fight with Deontay Wilder. Now they're saying that Derek James should have threw the towel in on the on Spence versus Crawford. You see what I'm saying? It's not hip, but it's hypocrisy. That's what it is, basically. And now we're joined by one of the three kings up in here, one Mr. Troy Ali, aka the Inside Man. What's going on, brother?
Hey, salute, brother.
Yeah, got something going on in the background. There you, there you
Nah,
go. So
me.
yeah, now I was just letting the people know that we having a boxing is making a resurgence, and it seems like you know there's a lot less hip when it comes to boxing, but there's a lot of hypocrisy because see Now we have these fantasy doctors coming out and showing videos saying this, that, and the third about Spence and brain bleeding and this, that, and the third. Where was he when he fought Danny Garcia? This doctor that came from out of nowhere. Where was the doctor when he fought Ugas? I didn't see him. Did, did you see that doctor 2 fights ago? Did you hear the same people who put Derek James on a pedestal 2 fights ago are now wanting to burn him like this is the Salem, witch hunt. The same people who basically ran Mark Breland out of town and scandalized his name and tried to destroy his character are now saying that Derek James should have thrown the towel in. So why is it cool for Wilder to go out on a shield, but this cat is not allowed to go out on a shield? Floor is yours, brother. Uh-oh. Well, Mr. Ali will be right back. He'll be right back. I thought I saw him pop in there. Okay, there he goes. Oh, hold on.
You hear me?
Okay, brother. I don't know what you heard me say, but
I heard you say
what'd you
everything,
hear me
bro.
say? Okay,
I
well,
heard
go
you say
ahead, man.
that. I heard
The
you say
floor
that
is
I
yours,
was.
brother.
I heard you say I was the best cut man in the business. That's what I heard you say.
I heard you say that you were the best at cutting off people in the business, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm really good at that. That's like my expertise. I'm like I got a PhD for that. No, but on the real, people are trying to crucify Derek James and things like that. And as as a cut man, um, I believe that he should have thrown the towel also. But um, I'm not gonna say he's less of a trainer because he didn't. You understand?
But but tell me, what has changed in 2 fights? I mean, because 2 fights ago he was anointed king, king of the hill, trainer of the year, best to ever do it. So what's changed?
Well, nothing's really changed in that aspect. I can only go on a fight by fight basis, brother. And his last fight was Spence, and um, me personally, uh, I think after maybe like round four, he kind of stopped giving Spence good, uh, sound guidance in the ring. You know, a good game plan to go out there and execute. That's my personal opinion. But that doesn't take away his achievements as far as what he's done. Up to the now. I mean, he's still trainer of the year. He just had a fighter that lost. It happens.
Okay, well, because I mean, before I heard that Derek James is doing some great things. He got undisputed in Charlo. He has this guy who's Spence. He's unified. He's working with Anthony Joshua. He must be the anointed one. He walks on water. Nah, neither did Jesus. This was a parable to make followers into believers. Now you tell me who said that. Uh-oh. I didn't silence you too early, did I? I think brother might be having some technical difficulties, so I'm gonna keep talking until he comes back on here and sets me right. But my whole thing is too many excuses and not enough time. This seems like Wilder Fury just Wilder Fury extended with all these excuses I'm hearing. Oh, he had brain damage. He should have been fighting after the 2 car accidents plus the eye. You know, uh, his doctors, his doctors were really PBC doctors, and they didn't really, they just cleared him to clear them because PBC wanted to make money. They don't have any personal doctors. What grown ass adult don't have personal doctors? Your lawyers and your doctors should be your own, not through your promoter, not through your advisor, but your own. You cannot trust men who are hired by somebody else to do a job for you. If you, especially something that personal like your health, you have to hire someone that you're comfortable with, not take the word of another man and say, okay, I'm just gonna put my life in his hands because I trust this other man. No, trust yourself. That's common sense. It's not anything else. But my thing is this: the more and more you Errol Spence fans say XYZ, and he is and take away credit from Crawford, you're really hurting him. Because now people could go back and watch his old fights and be like, well, yeah, he really didn't look that good against so and so and so and so and so and so. Because this is when I first found out he's not as good as advertised. When he stepped up and fought Brook, he was supposed to wash Brook away because Brook is a nobody and da 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 da. Right?
I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah. We got another brother in here. Okay, Bernard Hatchett. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's
We
going
got
on,
brother
bro?
Ali. I'm
Hey,
doing good. I'm doing good. But
uh,
look, let me start from the beginning so I get all you back involved. We're talking about all these excuses now with Errol Spence fan and not enough time. You got a mystery doctor. Derrick James should be burned at the snakes, at the stake like this is Salem. And now the same fans that were mad at Mark Breland for throwing in the towel with Wilder are now saying that Derrick James should have thrown in the towel for Spence. So which one of you gentlemen want to jump in here and go at the champ? Which one of y'all?
Man, I don't think that Derrick James did anything wrong. I don't think he should have threw in the towel. I
Me
I
either.
think I think I think it could have been more harmful if he did throw in the towel. A lot of times you get Monday morning quarterbacks. I've never seen a Monday morning quarterback with a loss in the L column. They only got wins because they play on Monday and they looking at a game that happened on Sunday. They finished with 10 interceptions and they finished with 10 touchdowns because they're playing it after it's over. Derrick James, he been with that boy his whole career. He knows him like a son. I think when you let a fighter go out on his shield in certain situations, that fighter can be brought back. But if you create the shield for him, I think you create an air of doubt that he may have not just in himself, but in his team that could hurt you in future fights. He could be in a future fight and he could have a bad round. And if you stop the fight previously, in his mind, he could say, I got to go out here and try and do something miraculous because if I don't do something miraculous, he may stop it again. And that could be the thing that gets him stopped again. An athlete's psyche is very delicate. And when you start messing with the psyche of an athlete, you're basically ending an athlete's career, no matter what the sport is.
Yes, because as you well know, being a fighter, right? Because you're a fighter, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
and
As you know, it comes down to the 80-20 factor. 80% of it is mental, and the other 20 is physical.
Correct.
So we all know that once you chip away at this, all of this ain't gonna matter.
It
and
reminds
that's
me of a Kobe. Oh, go ahead, brother.
no. I just wanted first of all, wanted you to when you finish introduce yourself because um I wanted everybody to know who you was. That's all, brother Hackett.
Oh, sorry about that, my brother. My name is Bernard Hackett. I am the father and coach of welterweight prospect Jaleel Major Hackett of Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah, I called brother Hackett and asked him to join the show, and yeah, he didn't hesitate, man. He came, he said no problem. Uh, I look at brother Hackett as a big brother. We talk from time to time, and he gives me wonderful advice, and I thought that he would be good in this show in this segment. So that's all I wanted to say. I just want you to introduce yourself so everybody knows who you are, brother. That's all.
Yeah, and
Man,
you
I
sound like
appreciate it.
you sound like you're straight out of DC, brother. I got some cousins from that area. There was a song back in '88, way back in the day. I don't know if you remember it, Hustler. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah.
song. And the cat was from DC. You
Yes,
sound
sir.
like that cat. You sound like, and you sound a lot like Anthony Peterson too. You get the same type of tone and stuff when you speak. So yeah,
Man, if you're from DC, born and raised, you can't get out of it. You can't get out of it. It's part of you. No matter where you're from, Miami, Texas, Philly, when you're born and raised there, it becomes part of you. You know,
And
I was just, following your comment. If you think back when they asked Kobe Bryant about an injury he had in the playoffs, Kobe Bryant responded, every guy that plays and starts in the NBA after 20 games has an injury. So there's no excuses. Everybody play hurt.
right, right. I mean, we're talking, boxing talk right now, and we're speaking with three brothers here that all have boxing experience and have fought at the highest level or have taught at the highest level. And so brother Hackett, my question for you is if it was the tables of time, let's say if it was Jalil and he was in the fight of his career and he came in just like Spence did. So you're saying you would do the exact same thing that Derek James did?
Yes, yes. I would have no problem doing it. And the reason that I say I wouldn't stop it even if it was my son, because I know how fragile that my son is. See, people get this misconception that because you a fighter, you this brutal Brutus who just does aggressive, violent things 24 hours a day. If you look at sports on the whole landscape, who are the most least involved with criminal activity when you look at violence? Boxers.
Yeah,
For
that's
Right,
true.
right,
for every sport you can think of, for every one boxer that has a domestic or violent situation, I can give you 5 athletes in another sport that have had that within the past month.
absolutely.
Boxers,
That's
boxers
true.
aren't brutal people. They're fighters by trade, not by lifestyle. They're some of the most sedimentary people. They're some of the most reclusive people. This is new in the last 20 years that you have fighters who are out like this. Most fighters, they fight and they go home.
Yeah,
How often did you see Bernard Hopkins out in society? How often did you see Marvin Hagler out hanging out? You didn't see that. Those guys are reclusive family men.
And
right.
Leonard was the same way.
Correct. You know,
Hmm.
Floyd understood the hustle, and Floyd made it where people saw him, and social media changed things. But if you be honest, other than when Floyd had a fight coming up, how often did you really see Floyd?
You didn't.
You didn't. He was a reclusive family guy. He was with his kids.
Yeah, because
So
you know who else was like that? Holyfield was a monster in the ring, but you never heard nothing about him, did you?
thank you. You never heard nothing. You had the heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe, who got beat up by his wife.
Facts,
Come on, man. These people are
facts.
not these demonic monsters. They're some of the most docile people in the world. And what proves they're docile, if you look at any other sport, the guys get paid every coin that they sign for their contract, right? We the only sport from the beginning of the sport, and we still here going now, where fighters say they don't get all their money, but they keep fighting. They keep working with the
Right,
same people.
right,
They're not hard to deal with. They're not hard to deal with. Fighters are some of the, like I said, most respectful guys. Look at what Earl and Terrence did when they faced off. Wasn't no guerrilla stuff going on. They shook hands
right.
like men and thanked each other for making the fight happen.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah. Because the only thing that happened with at the press conference was Crawford got into it with one of Earl's fans because he wouldn't shut his mouth. That's the
And
only
he
thing that
and
happened.
he and he directed that whole thing to him. And did you peep that when he was directing that to him as a man, Earl gave him the floor. Like Slim, you
He ain't
jumped
saying
out there.
nothing. Yeah,
He didn't say nothing. That man jumped out there. After they finished getting him checked, then they went back to having their conversation.
absolutely.
absolutely. Now, you have a did you have a situation with your son that was similar to what happened with Earl, or or I don't even know if you want to talk about that or not, but you want to talk about that situation?
I mean, I allow my son as he's grown up to be his own man. I think that's something that I was born and raised in DC. I had to be my own man. I did time in the federal prison. I was in the streets, everything. And
Right.
when my son was in a situation where he had to stand on his own two, I could have stood for my son. But what would my son have grown out of that? So when my son said, "Hey, Dad, I'm good," I let him speak on his own thing, and he really made me proud because he didn't denigrate himself or stoop to a level of mudslinging. He stated his fact, he stated his case, and he left it alone. That's what I tell my son. We're not here for back and forth. We're here to say what we're going to say, state our case, and then we move on to something else. If they want to keep talking about it, whoever they may be, let them do it. We done already said our piece because I came up in a city where when men made their peace amongst each other, that was dead. There was no more conversation of that. This situation that they live in now, where they make their peace, but then social media people jump in and they get to keeping it going, and so you feel like you got to go back and forth. Nah, I ain't come from that. So I ain't never teach my son that. I tell my son a whole bunch of times. He'll tell you if it's something that I don't like. I say that's some sucker shit, y'all.
You
And
sound
I
like
have no
you, my
problem saying
son.
it.
Right.
Because if I don't tell him it is, who else gonna tell him it is? That fight, I'm an Earl Spence fan. Shout out to Bud. Great fight. He put on a performance. He won the fight. But what I took away from that fight after, like, wow, he really did that to my guy. We watch 24/7. We watch All Access. We watch all that stuff. It's always 1,000 niggas with you. You ain't never had to be alone when you're doing good. But when the chips fell down, who was standing behind Earl Spence looking at the Jumbotron? Not
His
1,000
father.
niggas. His father.
His father.
The only man on this planet that ever wants to see you do better than him is your father. And
That's
that's why
right.
I do what I do with my son. That's why I do what I do with him. He may not like every lesson that I give out, but every lesson is to make him a better man than I was. I'm proud of my son, not because he's a great boxer, but because he's trying to be a great man. My son don't have no kids. I've always preached to my son abstinence. Whether he abides by it 100% or not, I wanted him to be different from me. Find that woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with and see what she brings to the table and you bring to the table, and y'all create a family together. See, we always talk about these
That's
fighters
right,
make
brother.
millions of dollars, and and when they make millions of dollars, it's generational wealth. But the generational wealth is not him making the money. The generational wealth is when you taught your family what to do with the money you made. Because there's a lot of families who got a son or a daughter that make it to the NBA, NFL, or something like that. They make $200 million. And before the first generation of grandkids are grown, they broke.
Yeah,
Absolutely right.
and real quick, Troy, that brother Bernard, man, he is a real genuine family man. Like I said, I talk to him often, man. I'll call him, and talk to him, about things, that's not related to boxing. And I'll call him and I'll say, hey, man, I got this situation, man, and what you think? And he'll give me advice, like, he'll stop what he's doing and he'll sit down and he'll talk to me. He'll give me like advice, and to me it's good advice because um, you know, every time I got advice from him, it always was good advice. And as far as him and his grandchildren and everything like that, man, he's a family man, and you gotta respect a man in this day and age that's still with the old school principles and morals. And you got, you know, you're in a sport that's the hurt business, but yet, you know, you know, your biggest asset, your biggest thing you value the most is when you're at home with your grandson. This is this brother, and that's why, you know, I love him so much, man, because, you know, he's genuine, and he shoots straight from the hip, man, and you really don't get that a lot these days.
Yep,
Man,
that's something. Yeah. Hmm.
we in a great village, man. We all part of something big. And Jalil just came in the gym. He ran into the gym, so we do our stuff. Um, do you understand that when we look at sports and we look at life, we're the only sport where the coaches in the sport don't look at us as a collective being our own fraternity. If you go to football, the coaches are the fraternity of coaches. If you go to basketball, fraternity of coaches. When you
Right.
look at when you look at them praise Mike Holmgren, they talk about all the coaches that came from the Mike Holmgren tree that became head coaches in the NFL because they're a fraternity. Until we get to the point where, yeah, we adversaries when we sign contracts to fight, but at the end of the day, we're a fraternity. We can only grow but so far. We can only go but so far. If I know that another fighter is doing something that's detrimental to him as an individual, not a fighter, not the champ, I should be able to call his coach and say, "Hey, bro, this might be helpful for your guy." I should be able to see him and say, "Hey, champ, might want to do something different." Not just because I care about the sport, because each one of these fighters represents a sport, because he's part of a fraternity. So I care about that. All these brothers, some of y'all brothers went to HBCUs, went to university, graduated, you pledged. You stay in contact with some of them dudes 20 years later because you look at it as part of a fraternity. It's a fraternal order. And until you respect the order, you can't get no growth.
Yeah, and also, it's the only sport where the fighters are actually their own business, but they allow themselves to be handled like, they actually work for somebody else. Fighters have to come together and really understand that they are boxing. It's not the fight, it's not the fights, it's them. It's not the promoters, it's not the manager. If you take away all the boxers from boxing, you'll have no boxing.
Yeah, that's a true point.
Hmm.
But I do want to say this. Everything has a place and a necessity as long as it's put in its place and used as a necessity. So I'm not going to say get rid of managers, get rid of promoters, because once again, it's a lot of fighters that without them, they wouldn't even be here. But
Right, right.
you
Yeah,
look at
because certain things fit certain people's personalities.
correct,
So for
correct.
those who want to do it, like you take like a Bernard, right? He stepped up and did it. Leonard stepped up and did it. Dillian White did it. Is doing it right pretty much. I know
Man,
Mike McCollum did it.
it's
For a
very,
little
it's
bit.
very
Yeah.
few. It's very few fighters in this entire sport. Very few that have the ability and the marketability to be a Tank Davis, to be a Canelo Alvarez, to be a Floyd Mayweather. Very few. So for those guys who don't have that ability to do that, then they really do need the promoters and the managers. Just look at boxing cards. Let's look at a boxing card, and we look at that card, and let's say that card don't sell good, and it was at a level where the fighters were putting the card together. Then we're gonna say, where was the promotion? That's the first thing we say. Where was the promotion? Everybody plays a part in this game. We just got to make sure that everybody's part is respected equally, so that the pay is good. But at the end of the day, we all need what boxing does. We need we need the Mayweather promotions. We need the PBCs. We need them. My son has benefited greatly from being under the Mayweather promotions banner, which he may not have been able to do if he was freelancing doing his own thing. I think Javante Davis is a super mega star, but a lot of what he's created and generated We got to give Floyd credit for it. So you can't do away with the promoters. You can't do away with the managers. But I think everybody has to know the value and worth of themselves.
I agree with everything you said, man. Everything you said. Honestly, I want to actually I want to take it back to where we started, man. What are your feelings on the whole, you know, the whole all these excuses now coming from the fans? This is after the fighter himself said, "I'm not making any excuses." Why do you think these fans are so into making excuses for someone who clearly said, I'm not making any excuses"? And why are they so quick to turn their back on the trainer who they put up on this pedestal and they made him king of the hill? Now he's lower than dirt. Why are they so quick to change like that?
Because to an educated man, they know the definition of, or the short version of fan is the long version of fanatic. And they know the definition of fanatic. If they have that concept, then they know a fanatic will never accept anything other than what they believe, even if it comes from the person in which they believe.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, because I was listening. This is a while back during the whole Wilder situation, right after the so it was the second fight or third fight with Fury. I think it was second fight. So this is a different show. I'm not gonna mention any names. Another somebody called into the show. He also has his own show, and Sugar Hill was on there, right? And he told Sugar Hill word for word while the man was sitting in his house with his family, "I hope you burn up in a car fire."
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah. The hell is, and this is a grown ass man. This ain't no one in their 20s. I'm 50, so he's in my age group pretty much. Grown ass man. Why would you say that? He don't know
Because
Deontay Wilder like that. He don't share a bloodline with him. He's never broken bread with him. So why the hell would you say that?
Once again, because a fanatic is a fanatic. They don't change. Look how many people get upset with their pastor and go to another church because he said something they didn't like, because it's contrary to what they believe. They've established a belief level that they're not going to change. You're not, sorry, 1 second. You're not on the bag, you're on wood. You got 10 rounds on the mix. Yeah, they established a belief system that they're not going to change. So if they're not going to change it, then you're talking just to hear yourself talk, because no matter what you say, if it's not what they fundamentally believe, it's in one ear and out the other. I'm an Earl Spence fan, 100%. And I'll tell you why I can't go against Earl Spence. I'll be clear about why I can't go against him. Because my son does a large percentage of the same stuff Earl does and gets similar or the same outcomes. So if I'm telling you I'm going against him, then my son should come in the gym the very next day and say, you can't coach me anymore. And if I ask him why, he should say, because you don't even believe in what you coach. If you're looking at Earl and you're going against him, but you teaching me stuff that he do.
Man, I'm about to pass the plate. Sound like you're preaching up here. But let me say this, right?
Nah, he preaching knowledge there, brother. That
I
makes
know.
sense.
I know. You being a trainer, right? How is it that you couldn't tell your fighter he's hitting you with every straight and right hand, go this way, to avoid the right hand?
Once again, you got to look, and I'm not taking myself out of that mix. I think I can make good adjustments, but we don't know if we can make good adjustments until we have to make good adjustments. And sometimes you get so settled in the outcome that your fighter gets you that you give him every opportunity to get it on track, especially when you've seen him get it on track. And that was a mistake that I don't think Derrick James would ever make again. I don't think he'd ever make the same mistake twice.
Tell you the truth, brother, but it was such a simple thing. What Crawford was doing was jab, jab, left hand. He would either throw 2 jabs or 3 jabs and come with a straight left. He wasn't trying to disguise it or nothing. It was just that blatant.
Yeah, Crawford was
the greatest marksman you'll ever see? the one that
Who's that?
shoots on a video game. But you put him in the field and he got to shoot live rounds, he gonna miss some
Mm-hmm.
shitload of shots.
Yeah.
It's easy for us
Uh,
to make adjustments sitting in our living room, and it's
right.
easy for us to say that guy in that corner making mistakes when we don't got 1.5 million people watching our mistakes. It's
That's,
hard when you sitting in that corner and 1.5 million people are judging your mistakes.
I
yeah,
got you,
and
but I got you. But he was never the first one to ever be in that situation. There's been others that were in that same situation, and they figured it out during the fight. So I guess my
but
question to both gentlemen is, how come he couldn't figure it out during the fight?
well,
Man, once again, it don't change. It
I
don't
think
change.
I think personally, like you got two left-handed fighters, all right. So you got two, and then so when you got two left-handed fighters, that that you're going to that right hand is going to be dangerous for both fighters because y'all both are going to be open to that right hand. Now, um, the narrative that I heard in the whole YouTube world was that Terrence Crawford, just he trained for instead of just a flick jab, he trained for a hard jab to take away the one thing that he said that Terrence that Spence had, and that was his forward momentum on his and he took away his jab because he had 2 inches of reach on him. So, but my thing is this: if you do watch the fight, you see that Spence was throwing hooks, he was throwing other, he was throwing lefts, rights, hooks, he was throwing a lot of stuff. He was landing, they just wasn't effective. Um, and on top of them not being effective, he he was actually throwing hard punches even in the 6th round. He was still throwing hard punches. Um, not You can't take nothing away from Bud. The, Bud won. No excuses are made. Just like Brother Bernard said, I'm Team Spence, and I'm going to ride with Team Spence no matter what. But you know, uh, I don't think that um, that was the best representation of Spence at all. But at the same time, people are saying things like, "Okay, he destroyed him. He destroyed him. He destroyed him." Okay, cool. We seen what happened. That was obvious. Okay. Somebody asked me today, "Well, what do you think about Spence and Boots fighting?" I said, "Well, you know what? Honestly, I don't think nothing about it right now because I'm still reflecting on Spence fighting Crawford right now. So, I mean, he gave his best. He gave his best, and he came up short. There's no excuses to be made, and I don't think he's making any excuses. I don't think I'm making excuses for him. I don't think Bernard's making any excuses for him. I think what we're both saying is that he gave everything he had. It didn't work, and he lost. But yet we're still riding with him because we're not going to jump ship just because our man lost.
Correct. Correct. I mean, if you really look at it, Manny Pacquiao got knocked all the way out, as far out as you could be knocked. And Manny Pacquiao came back after that and won titles. And won titles. He won titles after that. So if the people want, I mean, I think it's a good thing. People want to get off Earl Spence bandwagon, get off. That mean his legs shouldn't be tied because he got to carry so much dead weight.
Right. Hey, so let me ask you this, brother Haggard. I'm trying to be formal here. I say, brother Haggard. Brother. No, let me ask you this, man. So, do you think that Spence should activate his rematch clause and try to get a rematch in 154?
I say this for him, for the sport of boxing, and for what I would consider a fair fight, I would love to see Earl activate his rematch clause. I think Terrence would oblige him. But when he activates it, I would love for the people in charge and for the fighters to say, okay, you're activating it, you're going to get it, and I'm going to fight you at 54. But we're not going to fight until May of next year, because I think he should have to now live up to the mandatory and fight Jaron Ennis at 47.
Absolutely.
If in a perfect world, I think you see Bud Crawford in December fight Jaron Ennis, and if Jaron Ennis wins, Bud can move up to 54 and he can fight Earl. That gave him a time to heal, and it gave him time to deal with his requirements at 47. And if he beats Jaron Ennis at 47, then he cleared that business up. Then he can go up to 154 and still live out what he has to do with Earl Spence. I would not like to see him go to 54 and then come back down, because then if Boots beat him, they're gonna say, man, the weight going up, then the drain back down. I don't like nobody that had the excuse. So I would love to see Earl activate his rematch, but they move it to a May of 2024, and he fights Jaron Ennis, meaning Bud Crawford. He fights Jaron Ennis in December.
Right.
I think
And
that takes all the excuses away for everybody.
I have a question for you, right? Let's say he does do that with the rematch. What's his leverage to make Crawford move to 164? You know what's Spence leverage to say, hey, why don't you give me the rematch at 154?
I don't think it's a thing of leverage. I think those men both showed you that there's an air and a level of respect where Earl Spence can say, hey, I'd love to fight you again, but I can't be my best at 47. And I don't think Bud Crawford wants to beat anything but the best version of Earl Spence you can put together.
absolutely.
Okay, I'm still on it. What if Crawford just says, well, now I ain't gonna fight you when I got a chance to fight Crawford and get all the belts and retire? What am I gonna get from fighting you again?
And once again, I think he has the right to say that. Nobody can give any type of argument to him doing it, because when they were both in the ring, he took care of business. There's no requirement to run it back. It's like people gambling at the crap house, and he say, man, you can't leave with my money. Yes, I can. I want it.
Yeah, but there is a rematch clause in the contract.
Yeah, but once again, if Bud say I'm retiring, then ain't no rematch.
Oh yeah, Bud says he's gonna retire. Absolutely, there's not no rematch. But I don't think that Bud's gonna retire until he
I
does
don't.
two things. Until he does two things, and is exactly what you said, brother. I think he's not gonna retire until he fights Spence at a healthy Spence, and in his eyes, a healthy Spence at 154. But I think he wants to fight um, Boots at 147 to prove that he is what he really is. Because Boots is right now. My personal opinion, he has way too many fights not to have had the chance to become you know champion. You know, I mean, he has like what 30 plus like 30 fights or 30 some fights, and
He
he
has
Yeah,
hasn't.
enough. He has enough, we should be able to name some of the people that he fought, but we can't. See, Boots, this is what I don't like about Boots. You can see him on TV. He looks good. He gets hit with the same right hand all the time. I think he was blessed with a lot of skill, and he's athletic. But in boxing, it's not really quantity; it's quality that makes you a better fighter. You can have 50 fights, and if there's 50 fights against people that you just beat and you didn't learn anything, you're not helping yourself, right? That man is very talented, but if you put him in the ring right now with Crawford, he's going to lose, right? Even though he might be bigger than him and all that, he's going to lose because he lacks the experience, and he gets hit with the same straight right hand over and over again in every single fight.
Yeah, but the thing is this: whether he loses or wins, that's not for us to say. but you know, it's for the sanctioning bodies to say, you know, who's the mandatory, and he is the mandatory to fight.
Correct.
He's
That's
the
Correct.
man. He's the
that's
mandatory to
actually
fight.
that's actually cool. But you know, he walked away from the mandatory before because he was a mandatory Crawford's mandatory before, and he walked away.
Yeah, but he
He got
walked
back in
away.
line and he got back there.
He got, as you said, he got back in line, but he walked away because they offered him a deal. They gave him a deal because they said, you know, if he walked away from it, they would let him. He would revisit it, and he would get a chance to become number one. Number one contender for that particular belt. But
Who is
he's
they?
not
Who is they?
the
You said they
sanctioning
offered him a
bodies,
deal.
sanctioning bodies. Um, you got to understand when it comes to the sanctioning bodies, they were trying to get the unification done and over with if it could be made, instead of just one fight. They were trying to get a unified champion, and Boots didn't walk away because he didn't want to fight. He walked away because in his best interest now. Look at it. He's the mandatory, and he has a chance to become undisputed. So I think he made the right decision to walk away.
I agree
Yeah,
with you.
yeah. I personally think that he's gonna get TKO'd if he fights Crawford because he has a problem with fighters who move, as we saw in his last fight. He has that problem. If you stand in front of him, it's easy work. But if you're a mover, then he has a problem with you.
We can't call
Detroit.
that guy. We can't call that guy that he fought in January a mover. That guy came in there to play
What are we
tag.
calling
And
him?
he came in there to play tag and he played dodgeball and he just wanted to go 12 rounds. He wanted to go 12 rounds.
Right.
I think to say that would be basically discrediting Terrence Crawford. I say because that guy wasn't a mover, he was running. Terrence Crawford, when he moves, he's a mover. But Boots, I think he has one of the best set of skills in the division. Maybe people can determine which one they want to say is the best. But I think his skill set, along with his boxing ability and his size, can present problems for anybody.
I just got to see him
Absolutely.
fight some competition that I like. I would have loved to see him go up against the Danny Garcias of the world. The
But
even
when you say go against the competition, we got to remember them guys ain't screaming out they want to fight him either.
they don't have to. They don't have to because he's the guy that's coming up. He's the guy coming up, so he has to be that hungry dog and say, "I want you." They don't have to.
Yeah,
They don't have
but
to say nothing to him.
we know how that goes. A lot of time the fat dogs they only want to fight other fat dogs because the paycheck is better.
Exactly.
The paycheck not gonna be as good fighting Boots, a younger,
It-
more hungry young fighter. So don't put it all on Boots.
no, I'm not. What I'm
Let's
saying,
spread that wealth now.
what
Let's
I'm
spread
saying,
that wealth.
no, no, no. What I'm saying is like a team effort here. You got 30 plus fights. You should have at least 3 names on there that people would say, okay,
They gotta
he
want to
did,
fight you.
huh?
Those guys gotta want to fight you.
Even still, take away the Danny Garcias. What about the Virgil Ortiz of the game and other people in there that are basically on his level?
You
They
can't
have
make
to
them
want to
fight.
fight you.
No, no,
You
no. But
can't
They
make
have to
them.
but if
fight
you have enough, capital, if you have enough money, money talks, and we know what walks when it
you.
comes
Man,
to someone on your level.
we
You still need a
we
dance
seeing guys
partner.
walk. We seeing guys walk away from big paydays because that O is so important to them.
That that's but not if they on the same level as you though. That's what I'm saying. If you just coming up like he's just coming up, there's guys on his level that got a name, got a buzz like him.
Ooh, ooh,
Like
No,
I said,
name 'em.
like the Virgil Ortiz of the world,
Virgil
Kavaliauskas.
Ortiz.
No sir,
I
no
guarantee
sir.
you that
Virgil Ortiz is not on his
Kavaliauskas
level.
wouldn't walk away from. Okay, what about
What?
Kavaliauskas?
Neither one of them
Kevin?
are on that level skill wise of Jerron Ennis. Neither one.
Kavaliauskas?
Because neither one of them is on
No,
the
no,
skill
but I'm
level
saying
of Jerron
Kavaliauskas would
Ennis.
be a good test for him. That would be a good
Yeah,
test
see
fight for him.
now you just changed
That'll
it.
be a
You went
good
from
test
on
fight.
his level to a test.
No,
He's
no, I'm
already
saying no. I'm still staying on the same level thing. It'll be a good test fight with someone that's on your level because
he,
No, you're
okay,
backpedaling,
no,
he
no,
backpedaling,
no,
don't
bro.
no, no.
he
Hold
only
up a
cover a
second.
test.
Just
He
like
only
you
cover
just
a
told
test.
me, Just like
He's
you just told me that
backpedaling.
we can't say that he would that Crawford would beat him. How you gonna say that he's gonna beat Kevin Velasquez and we haven't seen him fight yet?
Once again, he put himself in a predicament where he's considered the upper echelon of the division. Would you say he's one of the
He's
top
not.
three? He's not. He's
No.
not one of the top three. He's not one of
Who
the
we
top
talk-
three welterweight.
Who we talking about? Boots?
Yes,
Yes.
he's not one of the
No,
top
no,
three
he's not one of the
welterweight.
top three. No, he's
Are
not.
you serious?
Who is he fought to make him top three?
Once
Who's he
again,
Who was he
Who
for?
was he fought to make him top three?
give me the three top welterweights, and I'm going to say
Easy.
this:
Crawford, okay.
prior to the Crawford Spence fight, give me the three top welterweights prior to that fight.
Crawford, Spence,
And Boots.
Porter
And
when
Boots.
he was in there, right?
No, and
No,
Boots.
no, no, no.
No,
You
I'm
went
not.
to a retired
I'm not gonna put Boots against. I'm not gonna put Brute.
We
No,
talking here now.
no, you
not,
said
not
prior. I'm not gonna put Boots
prior-
over Porter. Why would I
prior
put Boots
to
over
the-
Porter?
No, prior to the Spence Crawford fight. Prior
know
to
what
that
you said.
fight,
Porter was retired.
what are the three top? Porter was retired. So you went to a retired guy. You didn't even go to an active fighter first. You went to
I'm
a
not-
retired guy.
No.
Come on, man.
I'm not gonna put him over Porter. And Porter's really not completely retired. That's his mouth.
Retired.
We don't know that. I guarantee you that if a good fight come up and somebody offered
Man.
him the right amount, that man will come back in there. But I can't put him
Man.
over Porter right now.
Man.
I cannot put him over Porter.
Man.
Porter's
Hey,
fought everybody.
Porter done.
Porter's
Porter
fought.
done.
Sean
Porter's
had a
fought
great
everybody.
career. Sean
Porter's
run
a
the Porter
two-time
Way
champion.
podcast now.
Boots Ennis has not done anything. I
Sean,
guarantee. I
Sean
like
is
his
living his
skill,
life.
but
He's
he-
happy.
but no.
Well, look
I
here,
like his skill.
for argument's
Go ahead.
sake, let's say I tell you that I will go with Porter. Give me somebody that's active. I didn't say retired. Active. Those are your three top guys. You went to a straight guy who's inactive. We're not gonna call him retired. Inactive. Give me an active guy.
I can say the
that
same
is
thing
better
about
than those three.
Keith Thurman, but he's inactive. He's inactive, so I'm not gonna mention his name, but he's
Man,
inactive, right?
if you
Right?
put a bet line
He's
out on
inactive.
Keith Thurman versus
So,
Jerron Ennis, Jerron
I
Ennis
could
is
put
the
him
betting
under-
favorite.
I can put Boots under Porter, and I'm cool with that. But I'm never gonna put him over Porter. That's just
Listen what
very
I said.
disrespectful.
No. Listen to what I said. For argument's sake, you're right. We're gonna put Porter there. Give me somebody that's active. That if Porter wasn't available, you have to put him in. You can't find one. Boots.
That's because it's thin pickings out there. So you would have to say Boots based on
So-
all his fights. It
So if
doesn't
that's
mean
the
that.
case, so if that's the
No,
case,
this is
go
based on all his fights, but it doesn't change.
Pickens.
It doesn't change the fact that he hasn't fought nobody yet. So I can't gauge him.
He hasn't
because he
fought
hasn't
nobody.
anybody.
He's okay.
Who's he
He's
fought?
fought. Okay. Let me ask you this: if he hasn't fought anybody, right? He's still the mandatory for Terrence Crawford right now.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
before. Yeah, but so okay,
we're
good
talking
then.
facts.
And what do you
We're
think's
talking
gonna happen
now.
when he steps
We're
in the
talking
ring?
about now. We're
That's
talking about
right.
here
What do you
and
think's
now.
gonna happen when he steps in the ring?
I'm not thinking right now about that. I'm thinking about the facts that we know. I'm not gonna try to be a fortune teller. I'm gonna talk about what we know. What we know is this: Boots Ennis is Terrence Crawford's. He is his mandatory right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Now listen, we're not talking about nobody else. Porter's retired. He's not coming back. He's happy. Sean is happy with what he's doing. He's not coming back to boxing. It's just what's going to happen. Now, what I'm saying to you is this: give us at least the top 5 welterweights right now. Period.
But that's
Top
it right
5.
now. I mean, that's the only names that come to my mind right now. But I can tell you this: it's not you being psychic to say that what may or may not happen when he steps in the ring with Crawford. If you look at the facts that are given to you, you have a man that basically has yet to be tested against anybody. Name me one fight that Boots has been in where you actually thought he was going to lose. One.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
How
Name
good
one
do you
fight
think
that Crawford was going to lose.
How good do you think his last opponent was?
I haven't thought any of his opponents were good enough.
Okay, let me ask you this. Was Delorme a good quality opponent?
Was the who?
Delorme.
Delorme.
That was a mandatory.
No. Was he a good
The
opponent?
good
I didn't
quality.
say
Yeah.
That was a
was he
mandatory.
quality.
You can't.
No,
It
was
was
he
a mandatory.
quality?
You can't
No.
sidestep that. That was a
No,
mandatory.
No, you're
what I'm asking,
backpedaling, Troy.
I'm not
You
backpedaling whatsoever.
said no. You said did he fight quality people? We didn't say mandatories or not. Was he a quality fighter?
Okay, I'm gonna answer your question honestly. Boots can't fight any mandatory. He's not a champion. So when you asked
Okay.
me, was
Was
he a quality opponent? If he was made mandatory, I'm gonna have to say okay that he must have had some kind of quality. I never heard about the brother at all.
okay.
I never
Let
heard
me
about
ask
him
you this:
until he stepped in the ring with Crawford.
was
Right?
Sergey Lipinets the quality opponent?
Was who?
Sergey Lipinets was he a
Lipinets.
quality opponent?
Who was that?
What?
Sergey Lipinets was he a quality opponent?
Was he a welterweight?
Yes.
Yes.
They fought at welterweight.
I never heard. I mean,
You never
maybe
heard
I've
of
heard his
Sergey
name, but
Lip?
I've never seen him fight, so I can't give you an honest answer. I've never seen a brother fight, so I can't give.
Run his name real quick, Troy, and you'll see. Sergey Lip.
Yeah.
All right.
Sergey is like he's at the top of the food
Who's he
chain.
fought, brother? I mean, tell me who he's fought.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Once again,
oh my God.
was
Yeah, tell me who he's
was
fought.
Casino Clayton a quality opponent?
Did he fight Crawford or somebody we know? Did he fight Crawford, Spencer, anybody we know?
I'm asking were they quality opponents?
I'm
Were they
asking.
quality
You see, you throwing out names that I don't. If I haven't seen them fight, I can't give
Okay.
you an honest answer.
Okay. I that's fair. All right, Bernard.
Mhm.
All right, that's fair, Bernard. So how about this then? All right, let me ask you this, and this is to both of you. Okay. What's the name of the guy, Bernard, that Tank fought and
He
also
fought.
Tank fought and also um Crawford fought. The boy from Cuba. What's his name again?
Gamboa.
Yes, thank you. Now Gamboa, right? Now, Troy, did Gamboa fight Crawford, and did he not catch Crawford and wobble him? Yes or no?
He dropped him, right? No, I'm saying, didn't he drop Crawford? Because that
No,
don't have anything to do with here and now. But
no,
he dropped.
no,
He
no. What
didn't.
I'm saying, no, I
Okay,
don't
but he
believe.
hurt him,
No,
right?
yeah, he
He
hurt
hurt
him
him, right?
bad, real
Okay,
bad.
good. Okay,
But this is
and
now, and Gamboa hurt him really bad. Now,
okay, and
if Gamboa can hurt Crawford really bad, then Boots is going to
can I ask you a
terrorize
question?
him.
No,
Yes,
but
sir.
no. Can I ask you a question? Tell
Boots
me the
hasn't been in an accident.
no. But tell me the weight class that was when that happened.
140?
It was 135, wasn't it?
No, 140, I
It
believe.
was 140, and where does Terrence Crawford fight right now?
Now it's 147.
And how many people have heard him, and how many people has he stopped at 147?
How many fights has he had on 147?
No, how many people have heard him in 147, and how many fighters have he
Well,
stopped at 147?
he got to fight more than like 3 times in 147 to even get hurt on
No.
it,
Listen, I'm
right?
talking about Terrence Crawford. How many people has he stopped at 147, and how many times has he been hurt?
I mean, he only fought what 3 times at 147?
He has fought 7 times, man, at
At what
147.
7?
7.
Okay, now listen. Out of the 7 people he fought, right? Name anybody that they fought that was somebody.
We're not playing that game. We're not playing that game,
That's
man. We're
not
not
a
gonna play that
game.
because it'll
You
never
just
end
did.
like that.
You just did
It'll
this.
never end.
You just did the same thing.
It'll never end. Just like you bringing up the fact that he got dropped at 140 has no
But
bearing on what he's doing present day.
you just said
Right?
that Boots didn't fight nobody.
He
Okay,
hasn't fought any. Okay,
so who did
stop.
who
Tell
who
me.
did who,
Okay,
who did Earl fight other than who did Earl fight?
instead of going round and round with me about it, tell me who he's fought. That I should know, and then we could did that. Tell me who Boots has fought that I can say okay, that was a nice test for him.
Lipinets.
Name 3 people that you didn't know.
That's that slick, DC hustler talk, but it's not answering my question though. See,
Lipinets.
I'm from the Bronx, baby. I'm from the Bronx.
Lipinets is one of them for sure. Um, who,
Lipton gets moved up. Didn't he move up in weight?
you said who did Crawfish
No,
fight?
no. After the question, didn't he move up in weight?
Who was that?
Lipton Yates. Wasn't he a smaller fighter that moved up?
Yeah, but yeah,
Yes, I know who he
yeah,
is now. I mean, I had a brain. I
yeah,
know who he is. That wasn't a test
yeah.
for that brother. It
It
was not
wasn't
a
a
test. I
test,
want someone. I want it to be tested, and then I give you an honest overview. Look, when I see him on the screen, he's beautiful. But I want to see
right?
him test. I want to see him tested. In 30 plus fights, he's never been tested. Why?
Who's a test for Crawford in your book?
The man he
Honestly,
fought Saturday was supposed to be his test. You know,
yeah. When I'm
this
saying
this
other
guy
than
here who
Fist,
came from out of nowhere and dropped him. I mean, honestly, he didn't come from out of nowhere. Kavalauskas was a well-rounded fighter. He dropped him. That
right,
was a test, and we saw the way he handled being dropped. He finished him.
right.
I mean, he's had his test. When he moved up to 147, he fought a much bigger cat that was undefeated. And Horn, say what you want, he was much
I'm just
bigger
trying
than
to
him
make sure you
because
straight.
because Horn moved
You're
up to
right.
what 160, didn't he? So he was much bigger than him,
I'm thinking moving to
and he did his
154, but
thing.
yeah, you're right. I give you that one. But
So,
you
all I'm
know,
asking is, I want to see this brother tested because there's people out there he can fight. I'm gonna keep throwing out Kavalauskas out there because he's not gonna walk away from no money. He's not. So he'll definitely take that fight.
well,
Hey, hey, my brother, I tell you why I love this conversation because I tell my son all the time, he got 6, about to be 7 fights. Don't fall in love with the roses because the same people that gave you the roses will give you weeds.
They'll give you thorns. Exactly. They're gonna give you thorns. But me, I'm very honest, man. I mean, listen, Simon Brown's my godfather, right, brother? So I was in a room full of who? Vincent Pettyways people when
right.
Simon fought him. Do you know what hell I had to go through after that fight?
I can imagine.
Well, you should be used to it because you're going to go through that hell again with Boots fight.
Yeah, okay.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, fellas,
you know,
I got to bid y'all a farewell. I got to get this last bit of stuff done,
hey,
man. It's been a joy and a privilege, brother.
Oh,
hey,
always,
man.
always, man,
Thank,
always, man. You can
thank,
pop up
thank
some more,
you.
brother. Pop up.
Thanks for coming
Yeah,
on, brother Bernard.
Also, brother. What do you know about
See
the
you
House
this
of
weekend.
Champions from back in the day? The House of
oh,
Champions.
great spot. You
Yeah,
better know how to fight if you go in there because if not, you're going to get knocked out.
exactly. Now, the founder of that gym, I actually know his son, man. I'm gonna try and get him on air with me. Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
well, look, let me know and keep me in mind, and I'm available when you guys ever want us again.
Thanks,
All right,
Bernard.
man. And if you
Hey,
catch up
I
with
see you're
Andrew,
the way in, brother.
right?
All right, brother.
If you catch up with Andrew Council, tell him to come on the show, brother.
Will do.
All right, brother. Thank
All
you.
right, I see you Friday, bro. Thank you. Yeah. That was the trainer and father of Jalil Hackett, who is currently signed to Mayweather Promotions. I believe he is 7-0. Jalil Hackett was the sparring partner for many fighters, including Javante Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Josh Taylor, people of that caliber. Um, so he's very solid, and I like Bernard. I call Bernard my big brother because he just he when we met, man, like he welcomed me and we clicked, man, and you know he has a couple of months on me, so he's the elder, so he got to be the big brother. But he's a good dude, man, and it was fun watching you and him, go back and forth, because you know what, it was respectfully, you see.
It's
This,
always that way with me. I just I push
no,
buttons
no,
and I
no.
do it in a certain.
I know it's always that way with you, but what my point is, it's not that way always with other shows. You understand me? And here, we can talk about this, talk about that, and then laugh and joke, and then we don't take it personal, because at the end of the day, we have a respect for each other, and that's what it boils down to. But it was fun watching you two go back and forth.
Yeah, yeah. You know what, man? I heard how y'all met. I heard you was at a cookout and he was cooking some pork chops, man, and he offered you, pork chop sandwich. You ain't turned it down, bro. I mean, what happened? What happened?
Womp 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 womp. You got jokes, right? Okay. Hey, just know that I owe you a meal, and I do know this.
Oh
And
yeah, brother.
oh, I
It,
stand,
it,
I
it'll be a
stand
minute before
firm.
I come down there.
Hey, when you do, hey, brother, hey, whatever you want, hey, it's yours, man. You know, I'm a man of my word. So
Well,
that's
hey, brother,
that's
I'm pretty easy, man. We're gonna go to a spot in Brooklyn, man. It's a Jamaican spot called Home Sweet Jamaica. They got stuff for you too, so you'll be all right. I'm gonna get
you
the.
said. You said the spot in Brooklyn called McDonald's, and they got yeah.
Well, actually, no, it's right around the corner from. No, it's right around the corner from McDonald's. Right around the corner, because that McDonald's
Oh,
on Potee. It's on Potee, and this is on
oh,
Hanover.
that's like by Pumphrey, right?
It's on Hanover, man.
Is
It's
that
on
by
Hanover
that
Street.
by Pumphrey?
No,
Yeah,
Potee.
Pumphrey.
Potee is where the
Potee.
McDonald's is, brother. Yeah.
Oh, that's the
That's
name of
like
the street.
that's actually the main road where the McDonald's is, but Hanover Street is where the restaurant is.
Oh, where I got you. I got you
Yeah.
know. Oh, but that McDonald's is a is like a kind of like a truck stop. All like kind of
Gas
McDonald's.
station and yeah.
Yeah. You
It's a hot
remember that?
spot too.
Yeah,
Hot
it
spot.
is. Remember? Do you remember the um? I believe it was the Royal Farm,
It's across the street.
right? But remember, was it? Was it always a Royal Farm?
I don't know what it
Like,
was before.
well, okay, I believe like even back in the '70s, I think it was maybe a Royal Farm. But my point is that it was a picture painted on the wall behind it, a big mural, and it was a picture of black. It looked like black um, dock workers passing like cargo to each other, putting it on a ship. And it
Let me
reminded
see.
me, yeah, yeah. Man, you know what? I'm gonna try to dig up something and try to find that because that picture, man, is actually historical because it's kind of like it reminds me of like the good times painting when they're dancing in the living room or whatever. But that
Pool hall.
yeah, pool exactly. There you go. Um, I got to be politically correct and educationally correct when I talk to you because you are a onion of knowledge and you have many layers. So I have to make sure that I come correct. Yes, pool hall, brother. Yes, that was the painting. Um, and the funny thing about that is I went to go see that picture in person, but Valona and them done moved from the projects, man. They gone. Bookman,
Yeah.
Bookman, all of them. JJ, they gone, man.
Oh no, but I spoke to her on the telephone one time. She was on a show down here because she was at Pioneer City. There was a center or something in Pioneer City. What's that rec center or whatever? Is it Me Village or Pioneer City where the rec center is? I really don't remember.
Me though.
But okay, Me Village, yeah. And she had a book out, and she and she,
Hmm.
she
I
was promoting the
remember.
book,
I
and she was promoting
remember.
the book, and I missed her at Pioneer City, but I caught her on the talk show, and I'm
I
like,
remember.
man, you
You know
about the
what?
finest thing I've
Yeah,
ever seen in my
yeah.
life.
No
I didn't
disrespect.
know her husband was right there in studio.
Yeah, how about that? No disrespect to my woman. I love her to death, but that was my one of my crushes coming up. Uh,
Yeah,
Bologna it was
and Thelma.
Bologna and Thelma. Oh my, and Thelma, when and this is when the Cosby Show was on. Thelma looked
Oh, okay. So
so
you were
good
watching the
still.
repeats then? Yeah, you're watching the repeats.
No,
Yeah,
no, no, no. I'm talking about like remember when Thelma was on a Cosby Show as a teacher? She was a teacher.
I missed that episode, brother. Yeah, I missed that, but I
No,
remember that.
she was a teacher. But Thelma was a teacher. I'm sorry. Yeah, Thelma was a teacher. on episode of the Cosby Show. But
I'm gonna go
yeah, but
Google that.
yeah, definitely. But they those two were very, they were very beautiful women, and they were naturally beautiful, that's what caught me, the natural beauty.
I can tell you who I had on my list. It was Thelma, it was Lamona, and it was Linda Carter for Wonder Woman. Remember her?
You know what? Linda Carter was a very attractive Caucasian
And,
lady.
and
Absolutely.
no, she is Mexican. Her father Mexican.
That's why she okay. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes
man.
sense.
No, I think it's either her mom is Mexican or her father Mexican, but she was
That
tall. She was
that's
tall. I
what.
like tall women.
Yeah, that's why her hair is the way it is, and
Yes, sir.
she has the features that she has.
Daisy
Yeah.
Duke was Mexican too.
What's Daisy? Oh, oh, really?
Dukes of Hazard.
I know.
Yeehaw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that Daisy was Mexican. I knew that she was just very uh voluptuous for a Caucasian woman, but
Mm-hmm.
but
You remember D, right? D from What's Happening.
yeah, of course. Hey,
Okay, well,
hey, hey. Right.
she went to the same private school that I went to in the Bronx a year
What?
before I got there. I missed her
Where?
by a whole year. Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. I mean,
Um,
since
but
we
look,
on the subject of that, though, real quick, before
hmm
you see what you got to say, excuse me, um, 70s TV was a good time for the black family because that was a time where we all sat down and watched TV at the same time. And whether all of us ran around all day, or dad was at work, mom was at work, or whatever. But when like Red Fox came on or Good Times came on, got all of us was in front of the TV watching it together. And I
you know
think
whose
we
show that was, right? Sanford and Son. You know whose show that was?
Sanford and Son was
hmm
NBC. That was
Richard Pryor.
Richard
Eh, eh,
Pryor. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
you
you
know who
go.
hired all them people for the show, and they didn't have to do any auditions? Paul Mooney.
Paul
They didn't
Mooney.
have to
Yep, you're
audition at
right.
all.
You're right.
They didn't have
Yeah,
to audition.
I seen
He
a
just said, yeah.
I seen a I seen a one of those VH1 things about that, you know, where are they now type things or whatever. And Paul Mooney played a detrimental part in a lot of people's careers, man. Him and Robert Townsend. Uh, because if it wasn't for Robert Townsend, Eddie Murphy might not have been, as funny as he was live, you know, just like the Wayans brothers and people like that, Paul Mooney, Robert Townsend, and Keanu Ivory Wayans, man, they were the the force behind a lot of the comedians that were in the, was that were in the forefront.
I tell you what, brother, behind the scenes, Cosby did a lot too. He funded a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
people. Mario Van Peebles' father got the
uh-huh.
little bit of the last money he needed to put his first movie out from Bill Cosby. That was
Yeah,
Watermelon Man, I think was the name of that movie. Something like that. I think that was the name of the movie. But no, it was
hey,
Sweetback's Badass. It was Sweetback's Badass.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. I know exactly what that is. I know that movie. But one thing about Bill Cosby is funny is that if people was to watch uh the movie that he has with Sidney Poitier, um Uptown Saturday Night, is that what
Yep.
it is?
Yeah.
People pe- people would see a whole different side of Bill Cosby. I like it. I
And
like
they'll
the I
and they'll
like
see
the
Pryor before he burned himself up. They'll see
yeah,
Richard Pryor before he burned himself
yeah,
up, and they see Harry Belafonte when he put on weight. Yeah,
that's
Harry
right.
Belafonte was in there, and the handsome dude who robbed the casino that night and made that one quote in the movie. Never have so many given so much to so few.
Yeah.
I can't remember that cat's name. Yeah,
Yeah, I know I know who you're talking about. I'm not gonna say he's handsome. That was your word, but
What he's a handsome dude.
well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's okay to say if a guy's handsome. He's handsome. You know, I know that you're, a straight guy, so you know, it's okay. But honestly, um, that was a better time, man. As far as I'm concerned, because when people say that they're '80s babies, right? Um,
Right.
I consider, us as being '80s babies as well, because by us being, we were born in the '70s, but we were young in the '70s. So when the '80s hit, we were at that age that we caught, like, in 1980, in 1980, we were outside playing, and things of that nature. Street light came on, we came in the house. 81, 82. So we know, but these people, they were like born in like 88 and all that. I don't consider them '80s babies because they were born in the '90s, raised in the '90s.
Raised in the 90s, yeah.
But it's something to be proud of, and this is a beats and boxing thing. Um, it's I take pride in knowing that uh, our age. I'll be 50 years old in March, and um you'll be like 65 or something. And
72.
okay, that's what it is. No, 72 dog years or regular. No, but anyway, you're like right there knocking straight at the door with me. And you know it's a badge of honor now, because back in the day, people used to be like, when you get older, they, oh, no, 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 you used to lie about your age so that when you were older, you would lie so you're younger. When you were younger, you would lie so you're older. But now, it's like, hey man, we're just as old as hip hop, so we're first generation hip hop. I mean, who can say that? We
That's
can.
true. That's true. Because I remember getting the Sugar Hill album when it came out.
You and me both. The double dutch bus.
I remember that. I remember getting Sugar Hill album. I remember the block parties, people bring out their equipment, start cutting and all of that, man. I remember all of that.
That's that was my first love. That's where it began, man. The park. I mean, the
I
park,
remember
man.
when mhm.
The park, man.
I remember when verses really meant you had to spit something at the top of your head. That's what it meant. It wasn't going by your records.
Absolutely.
I remember when there was a lane. There was a Big Daddy Kane, there was a Rakim, there was a Public Enemy, there was a Heavy
Mhm.
D, right?
Right.
Everybody seemed to have their own lane. Cool G Rap, he had his own lane. NWA had their own lane. Hell, MC Hammer had his own lane, right?
Yep.
Everybody had their own lane. Salt and Pepper, Queen Latifah, MC
Yep.
Light, they all had their own lane, and I love me some Queen Latifah, boy, and then MC Light. Now that she's older, I see why everybody says she was fine. She fine,
Fine as hell.
yeah, she
Me,
fine.
me,
Good
me, and,
lord, I didn't
me,
even
and,
notice back then.
me and my cousin Danny. Shout out to my cousin Danny. Um, he sent me a picture, and he was like, he said, twin. He said, MC Light is fine as hell. I'm like, he was like, when she get so fine? I said, man, she was always fine. She was just a little boyish, but you know,
Just like the
uh,
brat when she dresses
man,
up, the brat fine.
the brat. No disrespect to my woman because I love her dearly, but the brat, she has a brick body, man, and it's crazy. Like I seen her, what's that ladies' night video? And she had a bathing suit on. I said, hell no, that's not. Oh, it was some video she had a bathing suit on. I was like,
That's the
I
brat,
said,
baby.
I said, what? I was like, dot dot dot. Like, yeah, but that's the
But
brat.
I tell you what,
So,
before I shut it down, I have the same dream every
mhm.
night, man. That I'm married to Ashante and Fantasia. I love big butts, and I cannot lie. Them other butts can't.
Hey man, you funny as hell. Hey, and the thing about it is, like, I get all those little catchphrases because My pops, he was on Broadway too. You understand me? And um, it's a good thing, man, to come up from an era and be the first generation of that era, and we take pride in that. And um, on a serious note, now when you get to be 50 years old or 48, 49, 51, 52, that's a badge of honor
I'll
because
be 52 in 4 days.
yeah, exactly. And that's a badge of honor because we were not supposed to make it past 21. That was what the um that was the age limit for a black male in our era. 21 years old, we were supposed to be either dead or in jail. So, we beat the narrative. We changed the narrative actually, because now, I tell the kids, I'm like, when they ask me how old I am, I say, yeah, I'm 49, I'll be 50. And everybody, man, no way. If I cut my beard, they're like, you're not, no, you can't be that old. I'm like, yeah, I'm not old. Yeah, no big deal. But, uh, it was a good show tonight, brother. And, I like, I like to thank, brother Bernard Hackett for coming on. I gave him a call, and
Definitely, good brother.
yeah, he's a wonderful brother, man. I gave him a call, man, about 8:30 tonight, and I said, hey, brother, how you doing, and everything, and I said, we got a show, blah blah blah. Would you mind coming on? And you know what? He said, yeah, with no hesitation. But you know what? Um, that's something that we uh we can take that and be proud of because brother Bernard, he's not the type of person to just hop on a show to hop on. You know, he'll pass up a show. He's not. If he likes you, he likes you. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But the thing is, like, but he'll get along with everybody. He's a good guy. His son is a very good young man. He's coming up with good morals and values, and he's an excellent boxer. And he's also, like I said, signed with Mayweather Promotion, the PBC side, and he has a fight coming up on the 5th at Coppin State University.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, he's on the card. Jalil Hackett is on the card. Also, Mia Killer B. Ellis is on the card,
Hmm.
and
What's his
there's a
weight
couple.
class, brother? What's his son's weight class?
Last time I checked, he was fighting at 140. Last time I
Oh, can
yeah.
he? I mean, can you see a few? Can you see a future fight with him against? Go ahead and say it, Mojo. Let
Uh,
Mojo handle it.
I mean, yeah. If our paths cross, absolutely. Um,
Yeah,
it would
and
be, it
Keith
would
versus
be,
Baltimore.
it would be a great fight. But if our paths cross, um, it would be a great fight. And you know, of course, I gotta ride with my man, Mojo, of course. But
All day.
at the same time, Jalil is not a slouch by any means. But
Nah, he fights. They say his father said he fight like Spence, right?
man, yeah, he fights like Spence. He's a
Okay.
he's a slugger. Yeah, man. But the difference between him and Spence is he's a little bit more defensively sound than Spence. You
Okay.
know,
Well, I tell you what, man. I got a song tonight to take us home for all them excuse making Spence fans. If you're not if you're not in that party, well, don't take offense to it. Just enjoy it. It's an oldie but a goodie. Here we go. Let me turn the volume off of this one. Here you go. You can't make it and then you can't get out of the game. People be saying
you dirty. Oh, you dirty. Oh, you so dirty.
you
Oh,
get in.
oh, oh my. or you going to hell. Or you going to hell.
Boy,
Oh my God.
I'm only playing. I'm only playing. But you can't win, child.
That was a good. That was a good one, Charlie. I give you. I give you that one. That was a good one, bro. But
I
you
found
dirty
that
for
one.
that.
I found that one earlier because I really want to take us out with brother. What is the name? Mad Lion. 2 minute suckers are not enough time. But yeah,
Take it easy.
yeah.
Take it easy. You
I'm just sick.
know.
I'm sick of
Yeah,
the excuses, brother. I'm sick of them.
but guess what though? You know what?
Hmm.
When you got fans, because not
Hmm.
only like me and Bernard we're fans of Spence, but also both of us are both friends of Spence. You
Okay.
know, but Bernard he also was with the BBC, and like I said, we're not making no excuses. It happened, and Crawford is undeniably the unified, welterweight champion, undisputed of the world. But the great thing about it is he's in the history books, not just for being the first male to become the first, unified
In
in the
this
four
era.
and in the four belt era, but uh, he's the first male to become two division undisputed in two different divisions. Just
Holyfield was the first one.
yeah, but I'm talking about in two divisions with you know he's
Holyfield.
a no no him
Yeah.
and Clarice this man um
Hmm.
Clarissa Shields are uh the first two to be the in the four belt era to become undisputed welterweight. I'm sorry, not welterweight. Um, two division champions.
Undisputed
Undisputed.
two division. Yeah. Undisputed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what
them
I
two.
think, brother?
Hmm.
People trying to compare him to Floyd. Floyd would have never fought him if they came up together. That's the
Who's
guy's
that?
honest truth. Crawford, he would have never fought him. He would have waited him out. He probably would have fought him if
Eh,
he would have lost
he,
or turned 40, but he would have never
no,
fought him.
Floyd would have definitely fought him after he turned about 40, 42 or so. But it's crazy that you mentioned that, brother. That um I heard from a pretty reliable source that Floyd said that you know uh he's not impressed and he he definitely wants to smoke with Crawford.
You lie. Floyd does not want to fight anybody. Look at
I'm
his for the last
I,
couple of years. He's only saying that because he wants to generate. He wants to start something, but he's never going to step in the ring with him because if he loses, he probably do something to himself because that's all he has.
man,
That's all Floyd has.
if he loses, man, I think that LB will put him on suicide watch or something because that's all he has. Like you said, is that 50 what 2-0 or whatever.
He's 50-0, but in all reality, he's 49-0 unless you can name the boxer he fought in his 59 is his 50th fight.
That's good. He's a boxer in his
Name the
50th fight.
boxer that he fought in his 50th fight. The boxer. He didn't fight a boxer, so how could he be 50-0 for not fighting? I mean,
Well, he
if you're a
actually did.
champion, if you're 49-0, why you fighting a guy that's 0-0?
Right. I
That
agree.
tells you a lot of. He's telling the fans, "F you."
But you
That's
know
what he's
what?
telling them.
But guess what? Even when he fought the YouTube guy, that guy was a actual professional boxer.
He was a professional. Nothing. He name me a boxer he fought before he fought Floyd Mayweather. Name me one boxer that he fought
Oh,
for. None.
I'm not even gonna sit here and act like he did. No, I'm just saying that he. Well, it's easy to become a professional boxer if you can pass the if you
Easy
can
to get a
pass the
license and all that. But look, I
yeah
fought more pros than him. Look, I fought Tommy Hearns. I fought Oscar De La Hoya. I fought Mike Tyson. Mind you, it was all video games, but I fought them, right? I fought and I won.
Yeah,
I beat
yo,
James Toney. I beat Roy Jones. I knocked out Venus
man.
Trinidad. All of them.
So you Glass Joe now, huh? Get him out of
Nah,
here. Get him out of here. Get him
nah,
out of
nah,
here.
nah. I'm Troy the Great, like it says, Mr. Graham the Great One. I went 200-0 on what? Ring King.
On Ring Kings. Hey brother, hey man, when you come back to Maryland, I gotta get you to come to Crab Town with me and play some of them old video games in there. 'Cause they got the old Mike Tyson Punch Out. The
Oh
video game
man,
they got the old Glass Joe.
I
They got
missed
the
that,
glass.
man.
They got the video game, the actual big tall video game at Crab Town, bro. Yeah.
You get
Well,
right in Glen Burnie?
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they got it right in there, man. They got everything. Like they got everything with JJ's. They got Russian Attack. They got everything. Galaga, Miss Pac Man. They got what is it? They got all the Street Fighters. They got all the pinball machines. They got they got everything that
I tell you what, my
some
game was though
old
back in
school.
the day, right? Spy Hunter.
hmm
It was Spy
Oh
Hunter, and Moon
yeah,
Patrol. Those
yeah,
were my
yeah.
two games.
Guess what? Spy Hunter. Yeah, that's the little silver. Yeah, they got that too. Spy Hunter in there. You'll love
All
it.
right,
But guess what
all
though?
right,
They
brother.
got
Hmm.
guess what Spy Hunter they got. I'm not before we go. They
What's
got the
that?
Spy Hunter. They got the Spy Hunter that you sit down in the actual seat.
Oh, okay, they got the real deal.
Yeah,
Holyfield. Okay, yeah,
yeah, so yeah, we gotta get over there and play that, man.
yeah,
But
definitely.
it was a good show tonight, man. And
Yeah, it was a
once
great show,
again,
great show.
I'd like to thank once again my big brother Bernard Hackett for taking the time to talk to us because he actually was in the middle of
Training.
training. Yeah, as you can see, he was lacing up Jalil's gloves and everything while he was talking to us, and he took the time, and I appreciate that because he didn't have to do it, but he did, and I appreciate him for that, and I appreciate you. I appreciate Major Keys, even though I haven't talked to him, but he's here in spirit always.
Uh-huh. And also, man, you also, you got to appreciate that my profile picture right there. That's from Man Down Promotions, and that's Errol Spence back. Even though he's kind of white, but that's that's Man Down. Yeah,
Yeah, I really I appreciate your graphic art. It's just wonderful. Okay.
I tell you
Yeah.
what, man. My birthday the 16th. I'm making some fish sandwiches for myself. So spicy fish sandwiches. That's what I'm gonna do. Some
Obey.
air fryer spicy fish sandwiches, man.
Ever. Hey man, what's up with you eating 3 tacos though?
Hey, ground turkey, baby. I could do that. It's ground turkey.
Ground turkey. What does that
Yeah.
mean? What does that mean? You dropped it first and then
No, 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 no. That means that means I only eat twice a day, brother. I eat twice a day. And so that was my lunch, breakfast, and then I had the same thing for dinner.
well
Yeah.
I commend you on that, brother. I eat once a day, but I drink a lot of water throughout the
Yeah,
day.
me
But
too.
you drink alkaline water or just regular water?
I actually boil my water. I boil my water, and I got a couple of big ass bottles, 128-ounce bottles in the fridge, and I fill up four of them.
Okay, well, listen, do me a favor. When you get a chance, go to the store. Actually, save your money. Go to Dollar Tree or Family Dollar and grab a couple boxes of uh, electrolytes. They mix in there with the water. They don't gotta have no flavor to them if you don't want. They can just be regular, and the water will still be clear because every time you have a bowel movement, you're losing electrolytes, and you need electrolytes in your body. They're very important. And A lot of people don't understand the importance of electrolytes. So when you boil your water, bro, um, put some electrolytes in it. That way, you can, get your replenishment correctly. Because if not, you'll feel sluggish, this for no damn reason, and it just because, you know, like I said, not to be over the top of gross or whatever, but every time we go to the bathroom, we're losing electrolytes at a really high rate. So um, all you got to do is drink alkaline water with electrolytes in it, or boil your water, like you said, and then put the electrolytes in it, and you'll be fine. That's just like potassium. Eating a banana. You need that. So uh, I want your health to be great, brother. So just keep that in mind. That's all.
Brother, well, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, man. We've been on for an hour and a half, so hour and a half and 5 minutes. Gave the people what they wanted tonight. So actually, yeah, hour and a half and 5 minutes. So I want to thank everybody that's listening nationally and internationally. I want to thank everybody who watched the replay. Thank brother for coming on. I appreciate his spirit, man. He good dude. Just
Yeah,
thank you,
great.
man. We about good conversation. You can be passionate. You can have your fun too. You could do some. You could throw some jabs out there too. As long as you keep it respectable. The key word. I ain't blowing nobody up in no car fire because I disagree with them. I'm not gonna
Right.
do it.
That's
And
right.
and all of that. That was uncalled for. And I wish that brother
Too
would
too much.
come on the show. I'd love to have a conversation with him about that. But he'll never come on my show because he won't be in control. I'm not saying
Well,
his name either, but yeah, I'm gonna give him
I,
no free time. So yeah,
I wanted to
yeah,
pull. I wanted to pull up. That's all, to the gym, and we could talk about it.
that ain't gonna happen either. But all right, yeah, I don't even know what song I want to take y'all out with tonight, man. I had a little joke song for brother. You can't win,
That was funny. Hey,
but
but hey, I tell you what.
uh-huh.
Do me a favor and
Mm-hmm.
play your favorite song
What's that?
from the. No, I don't know, but you play me your favorite song from um the summer of 1986, hip hop. The favorite song, your favorite song, hip hop wise, from the summer of 1986. Yeah, yeah. Think about that, right? 86 was a great year for hip hop. Great year. 86 was Biz Markie, Big Daddy Kane uh, era. Also MC Light. Also Kango Crew, and what they had to get Fresh Grub at that particular time. Uh, Dana Dane with Fame. Nightmares. Even Jazzy Jeff, and they were the brand new song. It was a good year for hip hop. 86 was a lovely. So
Yeah,
play your favorite.
I'm gonna take him out with a song featuring Pharoah Monch, Common, and Talib Kweli called "The Truth." So
That's what's up.
y'all have a good night. What's up, Crystal?
Hey,
Y'all have
baby.
a good night. Yeah, there it is, brother. The song is called "The Truth," which is what we need a lot more of in the world, especially the sport of boxing podcast. We need the truth. So here we
Yeah.
go. Bless up yourself.
Everybody do something nice to somebody you don't know.
Face the truth parallels observing amateur videotapes of 21 top notch NYPD cop. Yo, truth had me up against the ghost semi-conscious without no boxing skill. Spirit makes hair on my neck go like monoxidil. Watching the clock is ill when face the truth parallels observing amateur videotapes of 21 top notch NYPD cops get ill. Fillet lines out the hill, still some never reveal true feelings. Speaking on the truth right now in itself is a healing. See the creator created existence and balance at right angles thus it was conceived and stated. Whoever shall stray away from right lives wrong. The definitive of the word false, opposite of truth, false course. Show us much slave name, sin then. Troy Donna Jameson paves the path, enable the truth, stay stable and claim the earth. Sort of similar to the way static electricity stings. See, truth brings light refracts off the mirror. Visions of yourself and error could never be clearer. The truth is that you're ugly. Not on the outside, but in the inside. On the outside, you front and you lovely. The discovery of these things and all are well hidden. But when you in denial of self, it is forbidden. That's the truth. Let the truth be told from young souls that become old from days spent in the jungle. Where must one go to find it? Time is real, we can't rewind it. Out of everybody I met who told the truth, signed it. We find kids speaking cousins naturally in us. With false prophets by telling.
Who spoke the truth? Time did. And that is our time, ladies and gentlemen. That is our time. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. For those overseas, for those national, for those just listening and chime in, appreciate it. Appreciate the brother Hackett for coming on. You know, we had two kings tonight. We will be back Friday with our Friday night panel. You don't want to hear about it. Like last week, we had Kevin Kelly, we had Kelly Pavlik, we had Andre Rozier, we had the champion Mayor Cup, Marvin McDowell, we had myself, we had the mighty Major Key, and the inside man, Troy Ali. That's right. All of us on one panel. So you never know who's going to be here on Friday. Don't hear about it. See for yourself. What's the point of hearing about history when you could be a part of it? That's right. Bless up and all have a good night. All right.